Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. And more importantly, get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions on none other than Mr. Jack Grealish himself. Today's video, of course, is recorded in a different environment. We're in my car. We're out and about today. A busy day ahead, but I've got to pull over. I've got to make some content. And if you know I'm pulling over to make content, you know it's an important discussion to be had. First and foremost, let's get this straight. These are still rumours, these are still links, these are murmurings, but I feel like this summer, this move could genuinely happen. Now, it's a very complicated situation. Jack Grealish and Aston Villa were once a household name. Peas in a pod, fish and chips, salt and pepper, you name it. It was Grealish and Villa. He, of course, went for 100 million, the most expensive British player at one time in the Premier League, going to Manchester City, and it paved the way for Villa. It paved the way for us because he single-handedly, with the team, helped us get promoted back to the Premier League. He kept us up, and then his transfer enabled us to rebuild under Steven Gerrard with Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, and of course Emi Buendia, and using that money effectively and wisely to build our squad. Grealish went on to win 3 trophies in one season with Manchester City in their treble, and of course played a part in other scenarios and situations. However, the big impact and importance of this is that Jack Grealish has now fell out of the Manchester City fold. He's fallen out completely with regards to, and there we go, there's an ambulance. I told you there's all sorts of drama today. And maybe that is a calling for Jack Grealish. Maybe that is the sign that Grealish needs an ambulance out of Manchester City. And it's not that he's been injured. It's not that he's been ill or sick. But it's actually that Grealish has just not been wanted by Pep Guardiola. 7 Premier League starts this season. Many appearances on the bench, in a snood, in a hat, with a camera looking on his glum face. And furthermore, to rub salt into the wound, he absolutely was left out of the last game of the season against Fulham. Pep even said he's not injured, he's not being rested, he's just not wanted. And then the final nail in the coffin, Grealish has been left out of Manchester City's travelling squad to the United States of America for the Club World Cup Championship. And Grealish is told, you're done. Go find a new club. And so the rumours and links have obviously got going with Jack Grealish, with many clubs and many suitors interested in Grealish. But one that stands out is, of course, Aston Villa. And we're going to have that difficult conversation. First of all, how would that go down with the fan base? Jack returning to the Villa. I know 100% it splits opinion. It is one of those players that, for some reason, the fan base are so upset with him moving on because they felt what Villa was building, what Villa were on to achieve, Jack could have been a major part of. But instead he went for money, he went for the shortcut, he went for the cheat code of going to Man City and winning trophies. Now, I'm not saying that Villa with a Jack Grealish under Unai Emery would have won something, but we've been very close. We've had a few semi-finals in recent times. Just maybe Grealish in that squad could have changed everything. Grealish and his family feel ousted at Aston Villa, and that was all off the back of that December performance when Manchester City lost 2-1 at Villa Park. And every time Grealish touched the ball, he was booed, and it was boos, and it was boos. And the Grealish family took it really, really badly. They came out and said that they didn't expect a standing ovation, but they at least thought the boos wouldn't have been as bad as they were. Maybe a bit of pantomime stuff at the start, and then it fades out. But no, it was continuous. And it really shook the Grealish family and Jack in particular. And it made him feel, and the family, that he wasn't welcome ever back at Villa. And to the extent point that his family, who are Villa fans, have not returned to Villa Park since to watch games. A very interesting dynamic and situation. And what further makes it worse is that Kev Grealish, there's that WhatsApp message that has been linked of where he has been seen to call Villa fans, see you next Tuesdays. He's been called to Villa fans all sorts, and it's not gone down well. So even that aside has left a sour taste in Villa fans' mouth. People don't like his antics when he played against us, throwing himself on the ground, trying to get players booked. It's not gone down well. But Jack has always said that Aston Villa holds a special place in his heart and always will, and he has seen players return back to Villa before, like Ashley Young, and he would love to do that again. So, how would it work? How would Jack Grealish coming to an Unai Emery team work? Well, quite frankly, he's on £300,000 a week at Manchester City. Aston Villa are already having problems with their wage bill, and simply we would not be able to pay that. But what we could do with Jack Grealish and £300,000 is maybe look at a loan deal in which we don't pay the full expenses of that money. I think that is the situation in which Jack Grealish leaves Man City this summer, at least. A loan deal on the table to a Premier League club could be something that happens. I have seen links of Jack Grealish to Aston Villa. I've seen Jack Grealish linked to Arsenal, interestingly. And again, Mikel Arteta seems to love to snub a Man City player. He loves to try and swoop for one of them. He's had Gabriel Jesus, he's had Zinchenko, he's done it with Raheem Sterling with their time at Man City. Maybe Jack Grealish and Arteta could link up there. There's also been the Italian clubs in Napoli and AC Milan. And of course, the Saudi Pro League is always there if he wants a permanent signing for a lucrative deal. I think it's very clear that Jack Grealish has fallen out of love with football. Pep has absolutely made him into a robot, and Grealish needs some love again. He needs a place where he's going to feel loved. I will never forget a Jack Grealish in an England shirt in a home Euros, where he absolutely was that man who raised the atmosphere at Wembley every time he touched the ball. He was the maverick that England were calling out for. It was even rumoured that in the last major tournament where Gareth Southgate left him out, that actually senior players went and knocked on the door and spoke to Gareth Southgate and said they were a little bit surprised that Grealish wasn't included. But overall, Jack Grealish needs to find his form again. And why could Aston Villa be the right fit? Well, we've seen what Unai Emery has done with Marcus Rashford's career. Rashford in a similar boat, out of the mix in terms of first team football. His career looks like it's going down the pan, and Unai Emery and Aston Villa rejuvenate it, find his Premier League form again, and get him back into the international setup. Could it be the same for Grealish? But we talk about a player needing to feel loved, and it comes back to my point about Grealish and the Villa fans. If Jack Grealish is going to come back to Villa and it's nothing but a sour taste, resentment from the fan base, fans not fully behind the move, then maybe we won't have that connection with Grealish, and maybe he won't connect on the pitch with us. Unai Emery always mentions those words, connecting with the fans. If Grealish is not going to connect with the fans again, then this move is off. I think, for me, personally, Jack has a place back at Villa. I would love to see him play under Unai Emery. I think Unai Emery loves a ball carrier, would get the best out of Grealish again, would get a smile on his face, and I think Grealish can come back holding his hands up, a little bit more humble. He's had to go through that horrible experience at Man City of being casted out, and let's get Jack back to doing what he does best. Now, there'll be some people who are watching this video who will say, no way, Jose, is Jack welcome back at Villa. You wouldn't take him. We don't need him. X, Y, and Z. That's fair enough. But I think we have to look at Grealish and the likes of what Trent Alexander-Arnold has done. Players who leave on a free, players who run out their contracts, players who leave their club in the shit when they move can never return. Grealish gave us 100 million for his transfer. I think he has a place back for us. So I'd love to know your thoughts, your feelings, emotions. But it's a difficult conversation. Those rumours are going to be rife, I think. And once again, will Aston Villa look to engage in this transfer? Whether it's a loan or a permanent move, we'll have to find out. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe. And if you appreciated the fact that I've been in a car park, pulled over to talk some Villa news, then you know to get in the comment section as well and let me know your thoughts. People, I'm out of here. Ta-da!